traveling teaches you incredible experiential knowledge. It teaches you so many things. And one of the things it teaches you is to love in the moment without attachment. Because you meet so many lovely people on the road. You know, the people you meet on the road are some of the most interesting people with some of the most interesting stories. And you'll meet a lot of courageous people who quit jobs, left certain circumstances that were comfortable because they had this calling in their heart to go somewhere, to be something different than what their local society told them to be. So you really meet some very lovely people on the road, very helpful, right? Very, very helpful. And so you really fall in love with the people that you meet. You really fall in love. Like, you just fall in love with them, and they're so easy to get along with. Like, all you've got to do is like you meet somebody one time and you become best friends. Like, just from the first 5 minutes, you guys just like click. It's a traveler thing. So what it teaches you is amongst many lessons, it teaches you how to love in the moment, how to love without attachment. Because most of these people, they come and go. I've been here 3 months in different parts. I've had quite a bit of people come and go out of my life. People that are absolutely lovely, lovely, lovely people of all walks of life, of all ages, of all sexes, of everything. Lots of people in these past 3 months have come into my life, and it was so lovely in the moment to know them. And then they've also, as quickly as they came, as quickly as they went, right? And yeah, it sort of forces you to love in a non-attached way. It makes you more comfortable with saying goodbye or see you later. And I prefer see you later because you don't know where you see these people again. Like, I give you an example. There's Mike over there. He's two huts over. And I met him in Vipassana, which was in Myanmar, Burma. I met him in Vipassana, and then last week, I'm driving my bike here in Pai, and then I come across him. I'm like, "What are you doing here, Mike?" And then he's like, "You told me about Pai and this and that, and I decided to come." And he's in the same resort as me. So I always prefer to see you later because you don't know where you see these people again. You don't know how you run into them, where you will run into them, when you will run into them again, if you will ever run into them. So I always prefer to say see you later. I will say see you later, right? Nevertheless, there's always a possibility that you're not going to see these people again. So it really teaches you to fall in love, because you fall in love with these people. You really do. You really get along and you just fall in love. Because also nobody gives a shit about your degree and what you do and what your social status is, because everybody here is running away from all that societal nonsense anyway. Okay, so nobody cares. It's like, no, nobody's impressed by what you've done, by your accomplishments in life. No, trust me, nobody cares. That meme with SpongeBob saying nobody cares. Nobody cares. Truly, nobody cares about your social accomplishments, because everybody here is trying to run away from it anyway. And when I say everybody, I'm not talking about like the people that also just come and go right away. I'm talking about like the people that sort of come here and hang out. Like, a lot of the people here in my resort, they hang out here. You know what I mean? Like, they come here, they'll hang out here for a month or two. They're sort of nomads also. But also you meet some backpackers who are here for maybe 2 3 weeks, and they're also quite interesting people, right? They're also quite interesting people. So they come from all walks of life. The other day I met this guy from Britain, a very cool guy. He's got a vegan sushi place in Britain, in England, where he's from, London. I met another girl from, where was she from? Austria. And we ended up talking about the universe and metaphysics. You meet very interesting people, but nobody seems to give a shit about your social accomplishments and your degree and what you've done and who you are as a somebody. as an import to somebody. Yeah, the conversations usually go very mellow, very chill, and they just kind of go. You kind of pierce through the social illusion pretty quickly, and you get more into that sort of love, let's be here in the moment type vibe with a lot of the people that you meet on the road. Of course, a lot of morons who are here just to get drunk, and they cause all kinds of trouble, and they're rude to the locals, and they get into motorbike accidents because they're being reckless. They're there too. I'm not trying to paint a picture of you that you're gonna only meet angels on the road. No. No, 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 no. You ever get your ass to Kopangan, make sure you go to the full moon party or Thong Sala, which is the center, if you are interested in being around morons. Okay. So I'm not saying that you're only gonna meet angels on the road. I'm saying you will meet a lot of angels on the road. Okay, you will meet a lot of cool people on the road. You really will. Especially if you yourself uh, emanate that vibe, then you're going to attract that type of vibe to you as well. We got Tony over here, who's super cool. He's retired. I love these retired people here that are just here hanging out. Oh, they're so much fun. They're so much fun. There's Yan over there. He's Danish, also retired. And they get the pension money, so they're hanging out, chilling, just chilling. They ran away from. I mean, and they're very interesting. If you listen to their stories, like Yan was some kind of a big shot advertising executive in Denmark. Really big deal, and made a lot of money there and stuff, and now he's on a completely different path. And they're really just cool, man. Like, just the people you meet here, super cool. And you learn how to love them while they're here, but you also learn by virtue of traveling, because so many people come in and out. You also learn how to gracefully let go of people and not get attached to them, and just really let them go with love and love them in the moment, because you're not gonna see them soon. You're gonna be gone. So you just say, well, you're gonna be gone soon. I'm gonna be gone soon. Let's have fun right now. Let's actually be here fully in the moment, and you're there fully for them, listening to their stories, being with them. They're there fully there for you, listening to you, being there with you in the moment, responding to you in the moment. And you go, like, I was invited to dinner by Yan the other day, and you're just there fully authentic as you are, because I'm not gonna hit in a few days or a week or two, I'm not gonna see you. So let's be in love here right now. Let's be here in the present moment together. Let's just be here for one another right now. Who are you? Who really are you behind the facade? Who am I behind the facade? There's no place to hide. There's no need to hide. We're here precisely because we're tired of hiding and playing social roles. So it's amazing. That's a very, very important lesson in life, is to love in the moment, love people, and then just not get attached and not get possessive. Not get possessive, right? So that's one lesson amongst many, many lessons. You also, if you're mindful enough, you learn to be grateful. Because I could so, you know what? I could so easily, like, take this beautiful scenery here for granted, and take the fact that I pretty much, like, I'm living a dream right now. But because I'm precisely aware of how easy it is to take it for granted because you adapt, then I'm learning how to be more grateful also. Because I see these locals, like, I mean, look, she's working in you see her? She's working here in the fields. She's cutting, I think, all the weeds and stuff. Right, and I see how hard the locals work. You know, I see that, I have such a privileged life. I see the locals working away. I see them working hard, and then I'm like, wow, I'm really privileged. Like, I don't have to be anywhere when I wake up. I don't have to go and cut the weeds and stuff. And it just makes me feel more. It makes me realize I'm privileged. First of all, it makes me realize how blessed I am. It makes me realize, and so I'm more grateful for it, because I get to see all these people working really hard. I get to see it in front of me every day. I get to see them still be, very kind, despite them working hard all day, every day. And I just realized, wow, I'm blessed, and it just increases my gratitude. It increases my gratitude for the blessings that for the position the universe has put me in, which is like I'm extremely blessed. I am extremely blessed, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to feel bad. I'm going to feel grateful. I'm going to feel absolutely grateful that that's where I am right now, that that's what my circumstances are, that those are the blessings of God. And it just makes me that much more in tune with my mission in life to alleviate suffering via learning and sharing wisdom. Because I realize, well, God has given you all these blessings, now time to share them with the rest of the world. And this is how I share it. I share it via these videos. I share it via sharing wisdom, and bringing awareness into via these videos on the YouTube platform. And that's another thing you learn on the road, to be grateful. Also, to be very grateful to see how others live, to see how you live in contrast, and then practice gratitude. And there are so many lessons, so many lessons to learn from traveling, from being in different places, being around different cultures, different. The other lesson you learn is no matter where you go, people are predominantly the byproduct of their culture. That's more on an intellectual note. But Terence McKenna talked about it also. He said, because what did they call it? What did they call a mushroom? Trip, right? I'm tripping, man. I'm going on a trip, right? Trip. What's traveling? Trip. What the mushrooms will do to you is they will make you realize that you're just a byproduct of your culture, and you don't have to be. You could just be, like a child is cultureless, essentially. So you could be a child. But what you learn when you travel is you start to see that people are mostly operating based on the cultural programming. Like, that's what it is. And so you start to see how influential culture is on the behavior of the individual and on the behavior of society. Like, as much as I am fond of the Thai people and the Thai culture, it's still a culture that is a byproduct of the third density consciousness, and it still has a lot of flaws in it. Okay, it still got a lot of flaws in it. So I know I often paint this picture of the Thai people, the farmers and stuff, especially smiling and being nice and more genuine than, say the people in the West. And but trust me, it's still a lot of flaws in it. Like people here, for example, the Thai culture, it's overly polite. And sometimes it can be, you could sense the fakeness of it. And if you go on Koh Phangan, a lot of the locals there are out to scam you straight up, because it just became a touristy place, and the Thai people, you know, some tourists also misbehave. So then the Thai people sort of, start to see all tourists as just like assholes in certain parts, right? Certain parts. Anyway, the culture itself is far from perfect. It's still, all cultures right now, and everywhere in the world, are byproducts of the third density consciousness, which is a consciousness that is predominantly operating in power and, yeah, asserting power and manipulation, the ego plane. So it's far from perfect. I went to Burma, same thing. You still see it, like, you still see the culture is very much uh, has this strong grip on people's psyches and minds. Okay, so you begin to transcend it in your own way, and I find the best way to transcend all cultural programs is just by being kind, smiling, genuine smiling, being happy, being kind, and looking people in the eyes when you talk to them. And I find that no matter where you go in the world, if you do that, you will be able to a certain extent pierce through that cultural veil, and get beyond into that sort of into that other place, that other, the place where the soul plane. Okay, so yeah, you start to see the limitations of culture. You start to see that people are people everywhere and they have the same struggles and same problems. You know, Thai people are just as susceptible to heart disease and chronic illnesses as Western people, because part of the culture is the food Thai people eat is, you know, just as just as unhealthy and detrimental to one's health as the food people eat in America and the West. Really, it is. It is. I don't care what anybody says. Then you haven't spent enough time in Thailand. You haven't observed enough the food practices and the type of food that they eat, and you haven't. You just haven't, or you have a different reference point for what health actually is. And so, you know, Thai people are just as susceptible to these problems, these health problems, as Western people, because again, due to the culture says this is our food. We take great pride in it, and we're going to eat it. We're going to continue our practices and tradition, and yeah, and then so a lot of people here are and you know, he's like sick and stuff like that, right? Because still a lot of lifestyle practices as a result of the culture are just the same as other cultures. You know, most cultures around the world. You know, that's the thing. Another thing, you travel around, you realize that holy shit, like the masses of humanity are suffering, physically and mentally. Also, you realize that when you travel. Also, I mean, it makes you realize it. You're like, oh man, holy, there's like everybody's suffering. Doesn't matter what your culture is. I mean, because it's all byproduct of third density consciousness. Of course, we talked in the previous video how the planet is making an ascension. But all of it, all cultures, and so all people right now, all of humanity is operating based on programs that are the byproduct of third density consciousness, causing suffering, physical suffering and mental suffering. So that's another thing you learn. And then you stop idolizing places so much. And you stop, you know, having this romantic idea of, I'm going to travel to the perfect place and the perfect culture with the perfect people. That no such place exists at the moment. No such place exists. What I can tell you for sure is a constant is if you live somewhere with lots of sunshine, with lots of serenity, quietness, lots of nature, lots of prana around you, subtle energies around you, you will feel a sense of well-being. That's a constant. So you can do this right now in America. Go to some hick town and hang out there most of the year. You'll feel pretty good. Okay, so you don't have to actually travel, because every country you could go to a little town somewhere with lots of nature, quietness, and you'll feel good. You'll feel a sense of well-being. That I can tell you for sure. Okay, that I can tell you for sure. Which, I mean, what you do in that case is you actually go beyond culture, because you're going to a place where there's the least amount of culture and mind hive activity as possible. So that can be done anywhere in the world, almost anywhere in the world. Even in a cold place like Canada. I talked about my friend, Gardens of Origin, who has like this house in New Brunswick and off the grid. It's almost finished. So he's gonna go live there with his girlfriend. You can do that anywhere, really. You can do that anywhere. So yeah, just thought I'd share this with you guys. Thank you to all the Patreons for your support, for this channel, for the message, for the travels. I'll be doing more traveling next year, so we'll get to see more places and widen the perspective. And yeah, links in the description if you would like to support via Patreon. $2 a month. $2 a month, come on, come on. Or one-time donations on PayPal. All is appreciated. Instagram, Said Mobayed, and until next time, may the force be with you.